Um, all right, so if you're watching, here's what's going on. My primary account got they logged in, turned off multi-factor authentication. They changed the email address from my primary X account, and now uh, we're trying to. Normally, we do a space with John. I don't know what happened to John, but that space got rugged. Hopefully, he'll start another one, and we can continue some conversation. So I'm looking at my screens. I'm looking at other places, and I appreciate everybody. I've had so many people who have brought up all these interesting ideas and different things and talked to me about it, and then people reaching out in the back end, seeing if they can help me. I really do appreciate it. Here's the one thing I want you all to know. It appears that all of the people that are getting a DM from my original. Yeah. So, okay, we're gonna get to John in just a minute. All right, we can go back to the screen now.
And the other one I'm going to get rid of, and there we go. So, hey, I got some mic requests. There's Hart, and going to be sending a bunch of invites to everyone, and hopefully we can get things going. Okay, Andy, you're back. We got the X.
Thing I want to say right up front, and that is all of the people who have, first of all, thank you to everyone who's helped, because my primary account was taken over and compromised. Right now, they're impersonating me. So if you get anything from that other account, it's not me. But here's the second thing. Every one of the people have, when they respond back to that account, the person responds as if they know something about all the people who are listening. So this one is with the gray background right now. I might change the picture, but just the picture of me, the picture of my wife and I, that is not me. Anything that comes from that account is not Andy. I don't know who's been listening to all the stuff or who's been listening to the recordings, but they know an awful lot about all of us. So do not click on any links, even if it comes from me. You want to find my blog, you can type it in. You can type in my company. You can type in any of the things you need. You can find my email on those accounts, and then you can click those links. And if you want to send me something, great. But don't believe any link that's sent to you today from me at all. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you have to do that, but I really do appreciate everybody's support. And it's very interesting that we're going through this. I don't think it's not a bad thing. It just happens. It's unfortunate. Someone's being they're being a bad actor. We just have to work together to figure out how to prevent this from happening to any of you.
Well, and we've had some major things happen in the world today with the Pope passing away, and Klaus is no longer head of his thing. So maybe this is all some kind of cosmic, who knows what.
Really, so I'm in the trifecta of Klaus Schwab and the Pope, two of the most famous, well-known, recognized people in the world. I'm going to just take that as attention. Go ahead and put the Pope, Klaus Schwab, and Andy Wargadol right there. You go ahead, give me all the attention you want. I'll take that.
Everything happens in threes, right? That's what they say. So, and I see that yesterday Satan was trending, and today it's the Freemasons. So there's a lot of activity, which is pretty funny. And, we just want to stay entertained as well as informed, have fun, and roll with the punches, I guess. The thing of it is people, they go out of their way to do what they're going to do, but so long as it doesn't affect you. And Andy, you're solid as a rock in terms of your demeanor. And hats off to you for being so consistent no matter what shows up. That's a huge skill to have.
Well, It goes like this. When I was younger and bad things happened, I would get pissed and angry and I would lash out. And then as I got older, I realized that's just a scar here. It's okay. You know, does it suck? Yeah. Uh, am I going to use this as a benefit to amplify myself? Oh, 1000%. And I've often said, I want to get a troll agency that comes in and trolls people. And if this is somebody trolling me as a way to mess with me so that they can make a benefit, all that's going to do is going to make me 10 times better and 10 times faster.
I think a troll agency to combat the trolls is really, a great idea. And being a master troll, above all the bridge trolls, so a troll that lives at a higher altitude and looking down at the lower altitude trolls is a position of power, from what I understand. So I'm kind of going a little sideways. I see that Jason, Juan Carlos, and Harsh. So Andy, is there if I today, whatever you want to talk about, discuss, it's feel free to lead the discussion in any way you wish.
No, you know what? It's okay. Listen, here's the way the world works. Okay. Is it inconvenient? Yep. Are we here to talk about AI in business? Yep. Okay, so let's talk about AI in business.
Okay, well then perfect. So excellent. So Jason, do you want to discuss a little bit about kind of what you're doing, or do you want to wait till a later date? Jason's doing something interesting. Just want to see if he's up for talking about it now or at some other time.
I think I'm not quite mentally in the. I just got back from a long lunch, so I'm not mentally kind of prepared.
Yeah, I'm sorry but just everybody. Jason's has our Discord server. He put it together, and if you want if you're a developer and you want to be part of the AI Biz Hour Dev Discord space, please DM myself or Jason. We're going to make sure that we'll kind of vet people. Basically, there's right now, resumes aren't really the greatest factor in determining someone's skills. So we're working hard to get a group of devs together that actually know what they're doing, and that there's confidence within that group. So if you're a dev out there and you're a little competitive or whatever, please DM myself or Jason, and see if you can become part of the Discord server. So that's great. What?
Well, one thing I'm planning on doing this week, I like to try and get some activity in there. I've been doing a lot of research on the MCP and like platforms that support it, things like that. So I'm going to drop that in there just as like discussion points, because I'm trying to find ways to make agent creation something that can be deployed to multiple places so that we don't get siloed into like one box. Because to me, that's like the biggest cautionary tale is like building around the technology that you're stuck with a platform and you can't move it around. So right now, that's my biggest, like, how can we make this stuff scalable? So yeah, and I'll drop that in Discord sometime this week.
Yeah, and everybody, I highly recommend. I did a little deep dive. Peter Thiel was interviewed in the past week by one of the founders of Palantir, and he said something in the interview which I thought was really interesting. And I was wanted to kind of go into a deep dive of that. But he said, it's if you're going to invest or spend time in something, because he seems to be very much um, focused on the time that you focus and put energy on something, you should pick that very well, which I think is really, really wise, especially now with all this noise and the shiny object. And like, I have family friends who send me freaking emails every third day about, oh, well, what about this or what about that? And it kind of drives me a little bonkers, but what have you. But you know, his advice, and actually I got something of this, I think I might put it in the purple pill, is to really go towards things that are unfashionable, and that long-term investing, the contrarian's edge, why investing in the unfashionable areas is the path of extraordinary returns. In a world obsessed with following trends and chasing the next big thing, legendary investor and entrepreneur Peter Thiel offers a refreshing contrarian perspective. The greatest opportunities often lie in areas that other considers unfashionable, outdated, or even insane. This approach has led to some of the most successful investments and ventures, including PayPal, Palantir, and offers valuable lessons to investors and entrepreneurs alike. So, you know, we're all very much interested in AI and how AI is going to shape the future and how we can find ourselves within this river of energy and money and flow, and where we can, you know, exploit this, taking what our knowledge and professional expertise, leveraging this new technology, and then how can we get the most out of it. I think that's one of the reasons why all of us are come here to the AI Biz Hour. And I really liked his take on the idea of, you know, going to things that you know, in our society people tend to over index on these sociological factors of what's popular, you know, and you know, the tendency creates a fundamental problem in investment decision making. When everyone rushes towards the same opportunities, those areas become overcrowded, overvalued, and ultimately yield diminishing returns. Now, I know this isn't this is an investment space; it's an AI space, but but we're all investing time in this AI thing, and I think that's the critical part of this. Consider what happens in venture capital, where Thiel notes there's no fast term accountability. Investors ride on momentum. Yeah, people are getting so excited about, and I constantly push back. You know, you hear this idea, oh, AI is going to take everybody's job, and oh, AI is going to become doctors, and AI is going to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, right now, what I'm really looking at is how can I find actual real world cases where if I use AI, there is an actual measurable reduction in costs, and then turn that towards the most boring business opportunities around. And to me, that seems like something that's worth my effort and time. Juan Carlos or Harsh or Andy or Jason, I'd love to hear your takes on that, as well as Ray or Kevin or anyone else here in the room.
Well, it's always unconventional. I mean, Warren Buffett said, if everyone's panicking, be greedy. And when everyone's greedy, hold back. So it's because, see, here, the the point of what we're doing in business is very simple. If you're going up, there is a strategy to benefit going up. If the world is going down, there is a strategy to benefit when the world is going down. Most people never learn the strategy both directions. They only learn one or the other. And so when it pivots, they don't know how to change. And so today we're going to experience some economic, kind of bouncing. The Pope passed away. People will be kind of uncertain about what's happening because their fear response is setting in. Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, they're also going to look at that. They're going to look at how the tariffs are, what's happening with China, how are they responding. Though all of those things added together are going to create uncertainty. When there is uncertainty in quote unquote the market, which really we mean the stock market, but when there is uncertainty in the consumer confidence index, or the confidence people have in the ability to buy things and to invest money so that they can go forward. What normal human behavior goes like this: if you're afraid, you hold on to what you have. If you think There's bad guys out there. You put all the important stuff behind you and all the weapons in front of you. That's just truth, period. It doesn't matter if your weapon is a shovel or an email or an account or marketing, whatever it is that you put in front of you to help you out, that was what goes in front. And anything that's critical to you, your family, your kids, your assets, your whatever, you stand between the bad thing and them. That's what people do as just human beings. Or we hide them and then we hide ourselves. Those are the only responses. And so when the world is in this economic bounce, it's life is more like a roller coaster. You go around it, it goes up and down and spins around. But here's the thing. You don't have to get off. The world tends to teach us in education that you have to do it by yourself and that you begin something and you end something. And if you can pass the test, you now have some kind of validation or certification that you are or you know that thing. That is a fallacy. You learned the thing along the way. You retain some of that knowledge. No test, no piece of paper, no graduation certificate proves you know anything at all. All it does is prove that you completed the checklist so you could get that piece of paper or that certification. But it doesn't prove that you can actually do the thing. And all of us know this. We know the smartest guy in the world who can't tie his shoes, or somebody who doesn't seem like they can tie their shoes, and yet they know exactly how to fix the car. We know, every one of us have seen that in action, because intelligence is not academics. Academics is not intelligence. Some correlation, yes, but not 100%. And in business, here's the point. In business, you can keep trying till you succeed. There's no expiration date. The game doesn't end until you take your last breath. Colonel Sanders didn't even start selling chicken in Kentucky Fried Chicken till he got his first Social Security check and was pissed and decided to sell chicken out of the trunk of his car. And that turned into a worldwide phenomenon that Pepsi purchased for millions and millions of dollars.
Colonel Sanders.
It ain't ever over.
Colonel Sanders is my North Star. That's for darn sure. And so I'm just going to continue on what you're saying, Andy. And this is I think this is very relevant when we talk about AI. So more on what Peter Thiel discussed. Find your unfashionable opportunities. Look where others aren't looking. If I tell you to go into tech, if I would tell you to go into tech, Thiel advises, but within tech, look for niches and applications that aren't already crowded. Um, Look for zero competition, not disruption. Rather than trying to disrupt crowded markets, look for areas where you might face no competition at all. I guess they had to, at the time when Palantir wanted to get into the defense contracting, they had to actually sue the Department of Defense to win a contract. And everybody told them that they were crazy and that it was the least fashionable thing to go to in Silicon Valley at the time, when everybody was talking about the connection of things and social media and we're all going to be one happy family. They're suing the Department of Defense to get a defense contract, which was totally outside of the group thinking in the community that they were in. Distinguish between different types of broken. Not all broken systems represent good opportunities. Analyze whether the barriers are technical, solvable through innovation, or structural, political. Thiel's experience shows that even structural barriers can sometimes be overcome with enough persistence. But yeah, and he also talked about, in terms of structural issues, certain problems with certain systems within the structure of North America, and be wary of what's too popular. If you have an unpopular take on it, that might work. When everyone is excited about a sector, that's a good time to shun it and go somewhere else. Moderate optimism and contrarian reward, that there's bigger rewards when you go to places where no one wants to go. So yeah, if and breaking things down to first principles and trying to look for opportunities in a sea when everybody's talking about AI. We know there's going to be winners. We have no idea where it's going to be. It really does feel like the beginning of the .com era, when I knew people who made things that happened and put money in their pockets, but they never had any runway. It was just a short-lived thing. Yet there's people today who are still making money with the right domains. So it's going to take a long time to really kind of see where putting your energy and effort is going to really bring about the best return. And you know uh so yeah, I'm thinking, like, looking at really boring stuff that nobody's paying attention to, and seeing how I can make measurable results in a situation like that. Juan Carlos, what do you have
Yeah,
to
I
say?
I think when it comes to AI and whatnot, one of my favorite things to say is that AI is like if Bluetooth had a baby with the internet. Like they're both amazing technologies. They both do amazing things on their own, but together they're even more incredible. Now we actually have AI and all three of them interact with each other. The possibilities are endless. My point there is that the infrastructure in which we're hold on, sorry, I had nicotine gum in my mouth. My point is that the infrastructure that we're seeing be built out in front of us is no different than the infrastructure that we've already watched be built out with internet, with telecom, and with other these various technologies. This one just has a lot more weight to it because it's going to disrupt all of the other ones because it's just a fundamental shift in how we approach things. In terms of like how to navigate the playing field, I like to play around with problems that we don't have yet because they're on the other side of solutions that haven't been implemented. So there's a subset of problems that exist in every industry right now that are uh, based on human elements of that business model, or user error of the situation, or whatever the case may be. When AI gets implemented into that, we won't have those issues. Just a quick example, like vibe coding. That's one of the hot topics right now. Sure, I can go in and vibe code something and make a mess like I already am with one of my apps, but the reality of the situation is that's because the technology right now is made from a producer lens. Later on, it will be made from more of a consumer lens, and it'll just have the debugging functionalities inside of it that are a lot more top tier than what they are right now. My point is that somebody and most people should be thinking about from those, just like you said, first principles, from the second and third order consequences of problem solving. We should be solving problems that we don't even have the bandwidth to entertain yet because we're dealing with the solutions on this side of that bridge. But there are problems on the other side of when solutions today get implemented that people have yet to be able to solve because they don't exist yet. It's the Peter Thiels of the world who will make the most money in that landscape, if you will.
And also, I mean, there's going to be new industries. I mean, before the internet, there was no such thing as digital marketing, and now digital marketing is all over the place. One of the news stories today, Andy, I don't know if you want to comment on this, and we'll go to Harsh and Juan Carlos. AI is building Colossus 2 in the next AI supercomputer cluster. Elon Musk is developing Colossus 2. I guess he'll put it up in 3 hours or something, as opposed to the last one he did in such a short time. A supercomputer cluster larger than Colossus 1, critical for training LLMs. And I don't know if anybody's seen the interview with Elon saying that he believes that the robotics industry is going to be the largest industry that ever was created. And what I'm thinking about is getting a clothing line for your robots, and the nice thing about the clothing line is there be a standard. One thing that sucks about buying t-shirts is that you have to buy small, medium, large, and the inventory totally sucks. But with a clothing line for robots, they never grow, they never change the dimensions. So you only have to get one size that will, and you can multiple things. So I think everyone's going to want to dress up their robot, and the clothing line robot industry is going to be huge, just as big as the human clothing industry, if not bigger. And you're going to have the wonderful thing is that you're not going to have a huge inventory size. You'll be able to, get one. It's going to save a lot of overhead. So Harsh and then Juan Carlos, or Juan Carlos and Harsh. please.
Yeah, so sorry, Harsh. I just got to say real quick, John, that's a fantastic idea, dude. Take that and run with it. Figure out who you got to partner with. We've watched billions and billions of dollars be poured into fucking skins on Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, all these other things, right? Those are for children who are the least monetarily equipped group, and there's still billions flowing into that. So what you're sitting on there is a great idea. Just throwing that out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's yeah. Because I mean, yeah, people are going to get bored of looking at their thing. People like their pets, their dogs, their kids. I think it's going to be big to um,
minutes online upon a website builder, and then you are good to go. And for some people it's years and years of research, and it totally depends on what kind of problem you are solving. So if you are solving a big problem, it will take a lot of time to solve it. Another thing is like, right now in my perspective, we are witnessing the age of AI where we are watching it on brute force stage, where we need a lot of computation power, big machineries to operate it. And the history shows that with time, technology evolves and it becomes slimmer and slimmer. So it's just a point of time that it might be in our hand someday. It might be like on edge computing level. So obviously the players who wait the most, they have the most probability of that. But that in comparison to the bigger players, it's always like insignificant. Another the last thing I would like to say, that if you are building something greater, obviously it will take time and there is no guarantee. The thing about research R&D, there is no guarantee that it will happen. And sometimes people make it brute force just to make it happen because there are a lot of time and like money at the stake. So when we are designing something, we have to find a perfect balance between that and then how much it becomes affordable, because that fund we raise, that actually fuels the future R&D, and which is required for the whole industry, not just us. Because sometimes for a bigger company it might be not be a good chance to take a risk upon something, and that is why like Google released the bird paper, which became the foundation for transformer models, and we are seeing all these LLMs today. But the thing is, the companies which are doing the foundational work, those companies have the power to actually kill smaller startups at any point of the time they want, and they can do it for uh, like suppose earlier when the chat gpt came, people used to make custom gpts, and then chat gpt launched that feature on their own platform. So with time, obviously, if somebody like OpenAI sees or any other company sees that using their product someone is building some